Welcome back, everybody. We're continuing on with the headstock on this lathe, and we are almost finished with it. Very happy with the progress. So stay tuned. I'll catch you on the other side of it. So I've had a viewer comment on this already, calling me a butcher because of the way I've had to tap a couple things off of here. Well, all I have to say is that if you've never done one of these before, or you've never dealt with things with shafts in particular, and stuff that's been together over 100 years, unfortunately here and there, you're going to have to tap on stuff. My rule of thumb for tapping on stuff is use a wooden block, cushion it, and don't hit it hard. There's no reason, absolutely no reason to sit there and beat the crap out of what you're working on. It's just a good way to destroy a lot of hard work. Now we're going to start putting it back together now. I have a couple things left to paint, but we're not going to get that right off. I kind of want to get this back together a bit. Now I kind of probably screwed myself a little bit here painting all this. I wasn't thinking of the tolerances of these Babbitt bearings going in. What I don't want to have to do at all costs, we do not want to have to hit that soft part at all with anything. Yep, and I did. So I hate to do it, but what I'm probably going to have to do is some small blocks of wood and just start tapping it real easy in there. And then I'll probably have to touch my paint up after. Just going with a little piece of pine blocking. We're only moving a little bit at a time, but if you notice, I'm just gently tapping. We're checking everything. You want to go down evenly. They say you can't fix stupid, but you can help it with a bigger hammer. Can't believe it's not rubbing the paint right off. Definitely want to make sure no sawdust, anything in these. I think we're actually just about there. See, that one I didn't put as much paint on the one side. Let's just get her going here. I do believe she's down all the way. We're gonna find out. Well, that went way easier than it was supposed to. I'm looking this chuck over and I happen to notice that the teeth in the jaws are all numbered. So we have 1, 2, and 3. But if I go and I look at the actual teeth, they're in the wrong spot. So I'm just curious to see how everything looked when it was all together. And looking at it, they don't quite meet up the way they should. They should all come together tight, at least I'm assuming they should. So we're going to take these out. I want to clean this chuck up anyway. I'm not going to take the whole chuck apart because I don't think it's necessary. In fact, it feels nice and tight. Doesn't really feel like it needs any, doesn't feel like it really needs anything. These teeth just have to go in the right spot. Well, we've just uncovered a Made in England stamp. That's cool. Number 2. And number 3. We'll see if they all meet in the middle right. So far so good. I'm going to get a little oil on all these little rails they ride on. I'll take that as a success. And they all three come together and meet in the middle just right. And there it is, folks. Turns nice and smooth. You got the brass plates back on. I'm going to find some brass screws for that. Somebody had tapped and put a screw in there probably when the little brass nails came out. This one still had the brass tacks. But yeah, she is nice and smooth. Everything's turning nice. It is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So I've got the guards to go back on. The paint's drying on those right now. I forgot to paint them, of course. But I am super happy. Super, super happy with the way this turned out. This is awesome. Well, week and a half or so of work, and that's what we're left with. Real happy with the results of this so far. Everything's going back together quite well. It really helps if somebody took care of this. I found the last patent date on here. It's September 4th, 1888. Now, I'm sure there's a couple dates after it, but I cannot make them out because somebody used the ways as a hammer, on not where the apron rides, but on a cross piece there where they usually stamp that information. But the patent date of September 4th, 1888. That's really cool. It's pretty wild, actually, that this thing's been taken care of for that long. 130 years, somebody's done their due diligence with it. And finally, it ended up in a barn, and finally, it ended up in my barn. So hopefully, we can give it a good life. So, moving forward, I have to put the guards on there. The paint's drying. I forgot to paint them. They were hanging there clean, ready to go, and totally forgot to paint them. Once those guards go on, this headstock is 100% finished. We've tightened in our Babbitt bearings. Everything's tightened down. We've kept the original shims. We were able to save them, so everything sits the way it's supposed to sit, the way it was originally. I hope everything kind of lines up properly. Now, that spacer that went behind the chuck, the reason for that is that chuck obviously wasn't made for this lathe, and the threads on the shaft were a little bit too long. So they needed that spacer in there just to keep everything nice and tight. But we're going to try it that way. We're going to see how it goes. We obviously need to find a lot of tooling, but we're a long ways from running this yet. We still have the entire body of the lathe, the drive, the apron, everything, the legs. We have that big leg repair on this to do. So there's a lot to do. But I'm highly enjoying this project. I hope you guys are too. So on that note, I'll see you on the next one.